All right, good afternoon, everyone. On this March 11th of 2025. I hope everyone is doing well this afternoon, this Tuesday afternoon. Currently, where we're at in Austin, Texas, it's pretty sunny and not too bad weather-wise. So, hoping y'all are experiencing the same, hopefully. Maybe not in the more northern region of the United States, but I digress. My name's Nico. This is Shannon, my colleague. We both help run Tamales, which you all are active participants and leaders in. And we will get this started for our March meeting. Anything to add, Shannon?
No, you're perfect. And it is beautiful. It's hard to stay inside when we're finally getting this beautiful weather.
I know. So just a reminder, again, as always, we're going to keep coming at you until it happens. Next September of this year, 25th, 26th, is our Viva La Vida conference. If you don't know about it already, it's the AT conference, the state leading AT conference in Texas, hosted by us, the Texas Technology Access Program. Call for papers end this Friday. So if you would like to be a presenter at our conference, please, by all means, scan the QR code. We can post the link in the chat as well, so far as registration goes. We have great tacos, and to describe it, it's essentially a merging of all people, caregivers, individuals, providers, experts within the field of AT, and to show the latest and greatest in AT. So,
And we're working on providing a makerspace opportunity, possibly switches. So it's still a work in progress. And as we move on closer to the conference, we'll keep you abreast of what we've decided. We're trying to see if we have enough space at the conference. There's a room in the back that they don't usually let us use, and we're trying to get them to let us use it. And if they do, we'd like to have like a maker activity where we invite people from the outside to make some switch toys and do some simple maker techniques.
yeah, it's like a gymnasium, almost like a school themed gymnasium. So maybe we can do some branding and kind of like a school make-a-thon
Yeah,
branding around that. So
perfect.
next, what to expect. What we're going to talk about is kind of presentations, exhibit halls. Oh yeah, we already talked about this. This is for our conference. And then this is a little video that we're going to show you of a 3D adapted tool for flow. I saw this at the Science and Industry Museum in Chicago. But yeah, it's like it floats the ball up and it's adapted with a switch. So
And sometimes it's not working harder, it's just finding the right activity. So this is just a simple little toy that was adapted with a switch. And it's basically a fan. It's a glorified fan, but it has a lot of little activities. And when you're doing something like this, the idea is not to put a child on a switch forever, but it's not a one and done. It's let's stimulate them, let's change it, let's stimulate them, let's get them engaged, let's give them choices so that they see that they can control their environment. And once they're controlling their environment, our idea is then to move them on to academic activities, literacy, reading, turning pages on books. So, but to get them started on a switch, you want something engaging where they have control and the fan not just blowing at their face, but learning to control their environment. So this was a really simple toy that I found with my grandkids' little building kits or in science kits. And I thought it was a great toy to adapt because there's so many choices a child with a disability could have with it. It's not one and done. So, anyways, I was just showing you one of the possibilities of a simple toy. And Will, that would fit really well in your little activity and would be a real attention getter.
we got
Yes,
two
ma'am.
wheels on the
Thank you for
call.
letting me borrow those switches for the conference that I went to. Those were very, very crucial for my demonstration. So thank you again.
You're very welcome.
All right.
All right,
Uh,
so moving forward, I'll take it away, Nico.
yeah, it's being wonky about switching. Okay. So yeah, the mission for Tamales, just to let y'all know, it's a create a network of Texan makers that actively include and support individuals with disabilities across Texas, particularly those with unique needs, by fostering collaborative dialogues to design innovative solutions and tools to promote independence. So the agenda for today is to talk about new connections, talk about site visits and what things are going on in the near future. So new members, I wasn't able to look at the chat because
I
I'm
think
presenting.
everybody's been here before. I think everybody's
Well, if you are new, you're most welcome to come off the mic or put your information in the chat and say hi. So,
Emily and Adina, have you introduced yourself before?
I'm actually new.
hi.
Okay, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, sure thing. My name's Emily. I'm actually the social media specialist for Eden Supportive Living. We're a new facility opening up here in Georgetown, Texas, and
Nice.
kind of I mean, we're a new. Goodness gracious, sorry, I wasn't expecting to talk.
No, you're totally fine.
This is an informal, and this is what we like. It's just we're a community building
Even if
relationships.
Yeah,
even
but
if you're
we're
prospective, it's okay.
gotcha. We're an assistive living community for individuals with disabilities 22 years and older. So we kind of cater to a younger age group. So yeah, that's us.
Do you mean 22? Oh, so 22 years and up or 22 years and younger? Sorry.
22 years and older.
Okay, okay.
It's finding Nico that once they leave school, then parents work full time, and many of these students don't have a place, and so it offers just an alternative so that they can continue to grow and develop because our brains continue to grow and develop. Hopefully mine's still growing and developing, but
Always flexing that plasticity. Who else do we have in the chat? Anyone else? Adina?
Emily, do
Oh.
you have plans to possibly purchase a 3D printer so that you can even get some of your clients making? Because we're trying to work on some transition programs with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're definitely open to it. I'm just the social media specialist, so I'm just kind of here to observe today. Our
Perfect.
president and founder kind of make all of those bigger decisions, any purchases or anything like that. So I'm just taking what I learned today and presenting it to them later on.
Well, they're not here today, and we'll talk about a CNS lab. But they're welcome to come down to the university and look at our CNS lab at UT to get some ideas of all the things that they can create in regards to assistive technology.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I'll make a note of that for them.
And then Adina, were you here last time?
I think so, but I don't remember if I introduced myself or not.
Well, I don't remember,
Yeah.
so why don't you introduce yourself also?
Awesome. So I'm Adina Malamet. I currently work at UTD in the Dallas area. So that is where I am. I am a previous alum of UT. I graduated with my bachelor's in applied learning and development, aka SPED. And currently I work at UTD handling all of the employee accommodations and making
Yes.
sure our workforce has all of the things they need to be productive. I am also in the process, almost graduating May, of from George Mason University. Thank you, with my master's in assistive technology. So,
Oh,
um,
fantastic.
yes, yes. So I'm trying to network and get all of the Texas folks in my pocket, if you will, because we're few and far between. So just trying to network and see what's who's out there, different services. So yeah.
What thing now, Keelan is at Denton at a university, so she's a good contact for you.
Mhm.
So you might need to put in a presentation, submit a proposal to talk about something that you're passionate about. And
I certainly can.
well, it closes Friday, but we'll extend it for you if you want to meet with me personally, and we can talk about some topics and things that you're interested in. We're looking
Okay.
for just a couple more presenters. We've got some really diverse VI and speech. We'd like a little more OT, PT access kind of presentations, but we've got a couple good ones.
Okay. Yeah, we can chat after and see where we go.
I'll hound you.
Okay.
Keelan too, so. All right.
Thank you so much. Welcome new members. We're going to push it forward. And I do not know anything about this, so I'm going to pass this on to Shannon to explain it.
Okay, so Dr. Lee, who's on, he of course has a fantastic group of students in Houston Independent School District and they're helping me out, and we're going to work together collaboratively. So they've got some students. Ken Hackbarth designed this Voice It box, and what it does is it takes these symbols. These are tactile symbols. So if you have a child who's deaf-blind or a child with cognitive delay and they're not quite ready for a picture board or picture symbols, then we've got tactile symbols that they can use. And the bliss symbols go back to 1970. That's when they were introduced, and they were the primary symbol system used until much later in the 80s when some of the newer symbol systems, Mayor Johnson came out with the board maker symbols. But the difference is one is an actual language system, meaning it's made up like your speech is made up of so many phonemes or so many sounds that are blended. This is made up of so many shapes that are blended, and then it builds on it. So it's a pretty interesting symbol system. And the idea behind it is if I have a child here in Texas and they move to Germany, they could just 3D print the same exact system and take it with them, or print it in their new home in Maine or Montana, so that you're not always reinventing the wheel for some of these very complex individuals who really need a consistent form of communication. And then to take it a step farther, some engineers designed this box. And so you put an RF tag in it, and it will actually read a recording so that you can actually have it say a word. So if you have a child with a moderate hearing loss, but they still have some hearing, then you can actually let them hear and touch the symbol. So it just gives them one more modality. So it's a really cool box. So Dr. Lee is having his students, I actually purchased some of the parts to try to build one myself and recognize my limitations. So I dropped it off with Dr. Lee, and he's already got a student working on that. And then in the meantime, I'm going to turn around reciprocally and work with some of Dr. Lee's students in a self-contained class and work with the teachers for some really good implementation strategies. So it's really kind of a cool thing. And my ultimate goal would be one more tool in your toolbox, just to have every school have a set, not because we're going to force every child to use it, but you never know which child is going to latch on to this really consistent symbol system. And so that's what it's at. Do you have any comments on that, Dr. Lee?
Yes, if I may. First of all, the box was assembled and tested and working good, so not a problem. We were able to put it together, taking the lead from you, and it looks like we can continue to do this if we can get all the parts. I went online. We looked at all we look at the website, and the website actually show quite a bit of information, so we were able to. It's not very difficult from the website, so it's not bad. So our student can handle it, and we're thinking of doing more, but we got the first one done about maybe a week ago, so that's really good. We haven't printed all the tiles yet. We're still working on that, so that will be the next step that we're going to try to do, since there's quite a lot of tiles. But once we get that going, that will be the next step is to print maybe as many tiles we can, or at least to find a way to print it efficiently. And that's one thing we're looking at. I will, if I can ask you, Friday, that you said for the conference is a little tight, but I like to be able to present something. But you offer that we can talk to you and maybe have the date extended. That'd be great if you can, and if it's possible, I'd like to work with you and maybe show some of the things that we've been doing.
I would love that. That would be
It's
fantastic. So,
okay.
and we will definitely extend, I'm going to extend it for 2 weeks for people who have talked with me. so that you'll have an extra 2 weeks after this Friday to get the presentation in. And I can help. I'll be available to help with those in any way. And I'd love to have yours because I think by this end of this year, we're going to have a lot of information to share working together. And that partnership between high schools and therapists, I think, is, especially those AT specialists that work in schools, I think is invaluable. So that's what I'd like to see more schools doing. It's really cool.
Let me add a few more things. I did have a chance to talk to the SPED department.
Mhm.
They love the idea that you come down and help and train, and they love the communication box, and they are working on the various different dates that you give them, to see what they can choose. And so it looks like we're going to be able to put together a class for you to teach or a class for you to guide, and also students for various different certification as well. So that's going to be nice if you have that going on for
Perfect.
them. And so,
Perfect.
yeah, that's going to be really exciting. They love the idea, and especially when we have some students from both school that have limited sight, not able to see. So they said they would like to try it out and see how that goes, because this is specifically for those who are kind of legally blind, I guess, is the case. So all I'm saying is that your ideas have been well received, and we're gonna push and go as much as we
We have
can
a
with it.
project and
Yes.
we won't take up this whole meeting on it. So you and I will meet separately and we'll get that going, but we'll keep everybody abreast in it. What it is he's got some complex students that don't have a good communication system or literacy. And so we're gonna work with them and just take some initial data to see if we can help them grow with the communication symbols. And it's going to be a trifecta because you've got the individuals with disabilities, you've got the therapist, and you've got the makers. So we'll hopefully be able to put it all together, and then we'll keep you all abreast with it. All right, so now we'll move on. Thanks, Nico.
Of course, yeah. I'm just the MC. And more notes from the field. The CNS Makerspace at UT campus here in Austin. We toured their space a couple of weeks ago, but more over a month ago. And I believe Shannon has been back since. And there is a partnership going on with Austin ISD. Take it away, Shannon.
Yeah, so Austin was our first school district because it is so close to the University of Texas. And we've been doing a lot of work from the very beginning, working with their team, and their team has presented for us at our conference. Well, what they're doing now is the CNS Makerspace, which we've toured, we're building a relationship with our own UT Makerspace, and they're a really dynamic also group of students. So we're with Dr. Lee, we've got the high school students. With Patrick at the CNS lab, we've got the college students. And what the college students want to do is they also want to take on some projects with actual individuals with disabilities. And so what they're doing is they are going to work with the university or with Austin Independent School District, because unlike the university where you might have a client for a little while, the AT team at the high school, they know their kids and they know their families, and they know their families that will follow through with the CNS lab. Because if you've got a college student and a grade is riding on this, we want to make sure that we've got a good fit where the client's actually going to show up and they're going to be creating unique solutions for the students in Austin Independent School District. And they're going to start this summer with actually a high school summer program with just 2 students that are handpicked by Austin Independent School District. And so that's another one of the projects that we're trying to get going, and it's taking off, and we're really pleased with it. So we just want to kind of share what's going on. So we had the AT team from Austin Independent School District go to the CNS lab and tour it. Our whole AT team has toured it. And so it's really just building those connections, because the makerspaces are out there. We've just got to build that connection in a way that they're making they're making these solutions for real individuals. So that's kind of the update from Austin. So those are a couple of our projects going on, and we're going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Can I insert here, if I may?
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, I showed you a prosthetic hand that was done by another group
Yep.
with us. The actual hand what I talked about was with you then. I would show you was it was mechanically controlled, but we were able to have a breakthrough about 5 days ago, maybe a little longer, about the movement, the control of the prosthetic hand using brainwave. We're working on that. We're trying to figure out how these things would be helpful. And I think it's a K wave. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. K wave where you put something on top of your head, and using the K wave was able to make the hand moves. So that to me that was exciting because we were looking toward the bionics aspects of the hands. And before it was only by cable, but now it's remotely controlled by the brainwave. So I don't know how far it's going to go, but when I see this, we are possibly we could learn a lot from the AT group because we're looking at ways to figure things out, and it could be something that may help us. And so I want to talk to you more about this. May not be the time because we don't have everything resolved yet, but we have some movement from the hand, from the brainwave itself. So that I thought was pretty exciting. I want to let you know about that, and especially when I saw the hands here, I think that's something that I want to explore a little bit more. So if you can help us, that'd be great. Thank you.
What I'd like to do, Dr. Lee, is introduce you to Patrick, and he will be in Houston on March 31st. And so we'd probably like to possibly even find a way for you two to meet then, so we'll talk about that outside of this meeting.
Yeah. Can you send me an email on that, please?
Yep, I will.
Thank you.
I'm also thinking about how email can get involved here, just as volunteers. But yeah, moving forward. Notes from the field. Also, this is a Shannon project, so I will let her kind of explain this, dealing with independent living, communities, and 3D printing.
So this kind of falls in line with what Emily was talking about, and I sat next to a gentleman, Charles, from Southwind Fields, and it's the same kind of they're trying to build a living community for adults 21 and older and help them with job support. And he was so impressed with the 3D printing when I was at the transition conference. So their group is now looking into possibly, they're just starting the exploration process for getting a 3D printer and getting some of their kids that as almost even a social activity for some of their gentlemen that live with them, to do some 3D printing and make some of their own tools that some of their other individuals might need. So we've just kind of started a spark, but so having someone like Emily here also is really fantastic.
Adaptive gaming update. I've been taking the adaptive gaming around to local communities and whatnot and showing it off. I'm going to click this link to show you more about this website that kind of was launched. Do you still see the website?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So Adaptive, or Makers Making Change, launched a brand new website as it relates to adaptive gaming because we all know it's not going to go away. And so they have it kind of broken down into very, very easy and intuitive parts. One being the intro to adaptive gaming. How does AT intersect with gaming? Accessibility in gaming, and what does that look like? Physical and virtual accessibility. And then also adaptive gaming demos and kind of like use cases and recommendations. And when you go through this is more or less like a manual, telling you kind of price points, telling you how certain technologies align with certain parts of consoles. And they try to make it fun and very much user friendly. as it relates to the graphics, just kind of guiding you through the step-by-step process of what you need as it relates to gaming. Um, there are a lot of resources from various parts of the state, but obviously, if you need some state-specific resources, I do recommend that you contact us as it relates to funding and or acquiring some of this adaptive gaming. You're able to test our adaptive gaming out in our loan libraries, and we can also print off things as it relates to adaptive gaming. So please check us out if you're wanting to know more about this. But also, please check out Makers Making Changes website for more information. Um,
And Nico, I put the adaptive gaming link in the chat so you all can let's take about 3 minutes and just open it up if you can and look at it because they've really done a good job of putting that together. And I think it really helps with some of the decision making regarding the adaptive gaming. So it's a good link, I think, to have. They've kind of combined with Makers Making Change, which is a great organization. And then Makers Making Change has done a really good job of helping to build some of these maker spaces for assistive technology. And I really like this way that they've expanded their role. And I love this site now. So it's relatively new.
yeah, and if you look at this, like very simplified, like the benefits of 3D printing in adaptive video gaming. We can 3D print switches, and this is across all types of fabrication. Generally, traditional manufacturers tend to be a lot more expensive. So any way we can get the word out about the powers of fabrication as it relates to access, I think is that's the avenue we take, and that's the way we get popular. We increase attention in this
All right, so
space.
we're gonna take 1 minute. We're gonna take about 2 minutes now, and I just want you to have a chance to look at this website, and then we'll see because I think we all come from different domains. Keelam, and am I saying your name right?
It's Kylan.
It's oh my gosh, you should correct me.
Kyle
I keep trying to overthink it. And
I
my daughter's
remember.
Kylene. All right, so Kylan, I apologize. I'm going to be hacking it, and I'm trying. It's just like my daughter's name. So, all right,
I got you,
Kylan
Kylan.
is an OT, and so you're coming, and then you've got like Dr. Lee and Will is in an OT program. So you'll each pull from something based on your own background. So let's take it's 3:58. Let's take until 4:01, and then we'll take some feedback from you all in regards to something you got out of the site. Take about 1 more minute, and then we want shares from the field. All right, here we are. So any thoughts um, from you all? Anything you found that's new?
I just have a quick question, Shannon.
Hmm.
So I guess I couldn't go very far in it when I press like download and request a maker. What's the next process? Does it just like,
Did
does it
you go
simply,
to adaptive gaming?
yes, ma'am?
And then so you went to the Find Low Cost Gaming AT, but I wanted you to look at like the part one, two, three, and four.
Oh, my apologies. Yep. You know what? I'm not doing what the teacher told me. Thank goodness I went to College of Charleston and not UT. So pretend
But
I
we
did
are
not
a
ask that question. I will
we are
read
a
over it.
we are a diverse group, and that would be something I would ask too. So you're perfect.
I'm asking for all the people that else didn't see that, but yes, ma'am. Sorry for that silly question.
No, that's perfect.
I spent a lot of time looking at the part two, assistive technology and gaming, and I really appreciate this because there are so many different gaming systems, and a lot of the makers, the companies that are offering adaptive gaming are pretty small, and it's just a few options here and there, and it can be hard for users to know all of the options and be able
Mhm.
to evaluate them all at once to decide what's best. So I think having them listed and organized like that here is really nice. And I also really appreciated, often with adaptive gaming, there's a real focus on physical disabilities, and those, of course, matter in adaptive gaming. But there are other disabilities that can make accessing gaming difficult, and they include information about that as well, which I think is really critical and often overlooked.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you for that. I
Well, you
mentioned
seem
that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Will Smith, you seem to have some thoughts going on in your head too. So, any thoughts that you want to share?
I was just gonna say I really appreciate like all the pictures they have on here. Kind of demonstrating because it's one thing to just receive these from a maker and then kind of be on your own, but I think to have all this information and then see it laid out, especially on the last section, part four,
Mhm.
like it has the table with like the buttons on the Velcro showing how it could be laid out. I really like that. Um, and just having a demonstration is really helpful.
And if you go all the way to the bottom, they've got that Explore Game Kits, which I thought was really nice.
You really do, we really do need families do need kind of that hand-holding process because visually it's hard to see it. There's all these cords, there's all these extra setups to an already complex system, and then just trying to like troubleshoot all these programs and controllers and types. It's not easy. We have a robust selection in our house. We don't have all of the knickknacks and third party makers out there because one, they're not vetted, and also we have vetted equipment here that we know from other nonprofit organizations and whatnot, and it's a very much a wild west of things, and it's good to have this manual for a guide for families.
And not just for families, for speech
For
pathologists.
us too, yeah, for therapists too, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's such a weird world that our kids really know so much about and can teach us a lot. So
And Brian, were you able to look at this site because you come from a whole different perspective? Oh, he might be muted. So I can't pick on him right now.
we can come back to them.
All right. Any other thoughts, and then we'll let Nico move forward.
I jumped the gun, sorry.
If I may, um,
Yes.
I like the games aspect of assistive technology because, excuse me, I know my student, they love games and oftentimes they sacrifice their sleep for games and any new game come out, they love it. And so this is something that they're going to be a whole lot better than I would ever be.
So I love to introduce them to this, and I love to introduce them to see what they can do, and also see how they can transfer it to me. And that's a way of getting them to teach me. However, the key is I want to see how they can produce things that would be helpful to the classes that I have or the classes that we are involved in. So the game it's in itself, I'm not so sure yet because I don't know what the purpose of each games are, but the technology itself is something that 3D printing can probably adapt fairly easily for some of our students. But I need some help on this just in case those who have experience. I don't know if I can put this into the curriculum, but I can try to do it after school because I don't think HIs is going to be, very interested in having these games. But I think our kids and the kids who are involved with who needs to have their, assistive would probably go for this in a big way. And
Dr.
that's
Lee,
my comment. Yeah.
I've got some research to help you with that because there's a lot of research showing that once we get these kids engaged with the gaming, then we can use that as a backdoor into teaching them literacy and education. So, if they're having to work on curriculum and they're having to work to access it because they're learning new skills, then they may give up. But if they're working to access the computer through gaming, they're more motivated, they become stronger at it, and then you backdoor in some curriculum. So it's pretty cool how we can do that with some of our unique learners.
For
Thank you.
example, they're at American Printing House, Publishing House. I can't remember for low vision and visually impaired folks. They have a device called the Code Jumper. I can look it up real quick, but it's essentially teaching low vision and blind kiddos how to code. And it teaches them kind of like systems thinking and kind of music theory and executive functioning skills as it relates to like task management and scheduling and all that. It's a really cool device. We can always we have it in house here if you always want to test it out.
Please, I like that because coding is one of a strong point that HISD was looking at for this year. In fact, if I can include it in some of the things that we were doing for the kids, I think that would be very, very interesting because coding usually is fairly difficult, even for normal kids. Never mind about a kid that needs assistance. But I love to include it in all the kids so that they'll be able to learn the coding. To us, it's one of the essential skills that they need to have for the future.
I
All right,
totally
so
agree.
I put the link in the chat for that, the code jumper that's available at American Printing House. And once again, if y'all come to our conference, we'll try to have this stuff out for you to put hands on and look at so that you can see what we do have available. So it'll be like a big lab exploration.
Exactly. All right. To
Thank
move
you.
onward. So this is to update y'all on one of our requests that we received. We got a request from an OT, I think up in the Denton, Dallas area regarding an adaptive inhaler for one of their, I believe she's a wheelchair user and she has difficulty pressing down on her inhaler. And so we've been troubleshooting.
So I printed off, so Dr. Lee created one. So I've now sent 3 of them off to Dallas and we're waiting for feedback. But once they give feedback, we will. Now, the problem with Tinkercad is when you get their patterns, a lot of times they're not as good as, they're people like me creating them and I don't have that engineering background. So what happened when I printed it was on the black one, there's 2 different prints, the blue one and the black one. They're actually 2 separate ones, but it's pretty much the same, but somebody updated it. And one prints in one piece, which should be articulated, but it didn't work and it broke. The other one prints in 2 pieces, and I should be able to put it together, but it wasn't strong enough and it broke. And then the smiley face cap, because it's got an underneath that didn't have support, it was tricky because they didn't add support to the file. So I had to put the support on. So it was tricky to print. But Dr. Lee's students did create one that was a lever and that was the best one of all of them. So we sent what I made up to it's a physical therapist, and we'll wait for their feedback. So you'll have that at the next meeting. And I
Yes.
also get a picture, I forgot to put it up here, next time, of the one that Dr. Lee created, or Dr. Lee's students.
All right. New articles. I don't know if I don't have any new articles. Do you have any, Shannon?
Yeah, I didn't get it posted, but I want you to move forward. I found a new article on Makerspaces, and that will be on the Padlet. So remember, we do have the Padlet. So if you move forward one more, Nico.
Yes.
Oh, no, don't. We'll talk about it when we get to the Padlet. But there
Okay.
is, if they're open source Padlet articles, I put them in the Padlet. If they're not open source articles, then I put them in the box link. And you have both of those links in our slide deck so that you can work on that, because our whole thing is building capacity amongst us so that we can have those thoughtful conversations. And I'll
All
try
right.
to even send out I've added a couple articles, maybe like 2 weeks into it, so that you'll know when I've actually posted them. All right. And now share.
Turn the mic over to y'all. I know we kind of took up a lot of time, but we want to give you as much time as possible right now. What's going on in your lives? Anything, any success stories, any difficulties, questions, concerns, comments?
So Will has created the Atento board, and Will Pierce. So you were going to talk about you went to a PT conference, I believe.
Yes,
Or was
ma'am. It was the South Carolina Occupational Therapists Association.
OT.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you for recommending that. And Kyle Ann actually suggested to do a raffle. So I did that as well in order to get some contacts. So yeah, I guess I'd actually like to the new two guests. I guess it was, my apologies on the names. I'm not the best, but it was Emily,
Emily and
Adina.
Adina, yeah.
Yes, I'd like to send them boards because it sounds like that's something that they might be able to put to use and give me some feedback on.
I think that
Yeah,
would be great. Yeah.
yeah, I can put my email in the chat.
Perfect. That sounds great.
And I know, Will, you sent another board to one of our participants, school district. I forget his
Ben.
name.
Yes,
Ben, yeah.
Ben.
He
Hmm.
loves it. He loves your board.
That's what I like to hear. And just anyone that y'all can think of, I want to get in front of them. So please, if anyone has any names to send me, by all means, send them my way.
Perfect. Um,
Great.
anyone else?
Anybody else have anything to share? Kyle Ann?
You know, I'm really working on getting papers out the door. I do have a systematic review on 3D printing that's going up for peer review right now. That once it is published, I'd be happy to share with the group.
Is that something you want to present at the conference for an hour?
Um, Potentially, I have to look at my conference funds. I've already allocated a lot of it. I'll have to see what I have left, but that would definitely
Because when you present
yes.
at the conference, then your fee is only $25 because that just helps us cover food.
Yeah.
And then that covers your parking, and that conference has breakfast and lunch both days. So you only have dinner to worry about. But if you eat well in breakfast, lunch, you don't need that much for dinner. And then parking's free as part of your conference fee. And then we've got the hotels around the area are offering the government rate.
Oh, wow. That is great to know. That's a very affordable conference.
Yeah, and we do have a couple other OTs, one from Texas Children. She's going to be presenting on access. Her name is Robbie Robert. She presented at Ash, and I met her. So, but hers is going to be on access, which I think is one of our weak links. So, Will, what about you? Will Smith.
Well, actually, I'm working with, we've got a local community sort of independent living center called Life Inc.
Mhm.
And I've actually been working with them because basically anyone that goes and stays there and has a need gets put on a list that's about a year and a half long to receive any kind of assistive device or anything like that.
Eek.
And so I'm working with them to create sort of like a assistive device locker or closet, just to kind of have a bunch of simple things on hand that they can go in there and reach and grab, um, if needed for those people, so they don't have to wait a year and a half to get a device. And so I've been working with them the last few weeks.
Do you need any help with us printing and helping you add to their library?
I don't, not at the moment, but I think
Okay.
um, I know that if it seems that they're going to need a lot more devices, then that might be the case. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. That sounds exciting. And so that goes with Emily's project with her population also. So once again, you're targeting those kind of lost after they get out of those post-secondary students that then find that they don't have all those tools that they had at their access or at their fingertips when they were in public education. So those are tricky populations, especially if they don't go into Texas workforce. Anybody else have anything to share? All right, go ahead and move on, Nico.
Yes. Where are we going? We have a bunch of other conference activities, but as it relates to 3D printing, Shannon is going to be presenting on Journey into 3D Printing for ATIA. Well,
No,
no,
no, no, no. The
it's for
autism.
AU's. Yeah, it's for AUCD. So there's so many acronyms that start with A. It's either the Assistive Technology Industry Association, or it's this one, which is the Associated Universities Centers on Disabilities, AUCD, it's called. And part of that association are special interest groups. And one of those special interest groups is the Assistive Technology Special Interest Group. That's housed and ran by the SIG in Illinois, by the AT program in Illinois. And they invited us to speak on 3D printing. So Shannon is going to give a presentation on why 3D printing is the best and why fabrication is needed within the AT space. It's a presentation we've done before, but it should be great if you want to learn a little bit more about the nuances of 3D printing. Anything to add, Shannon?
This is actually a presentation Brian and I started doing together, and I presented it at ASHA, American Speech Hearing Association, and I presented it at TOTA, Texas Occupational Therapy Association. So it's just an introduction because a lot of people don't realize how simple 3D printing has become, and they're really intimidated by the process. So it's really kind of to level that playing field and show that it's really not magic. It's pretty simple. If I can do it as a speech path, you as OTs have far more fabrication background than I do, so it's much easier.
And then our big conference of the year, aside from our own conference, we're going to be going to the Texas Library Conference up in Dallas from the 2nd to the 4th. Just really trying to get into that library space because we have noticed that libraries kind of intersect all walks of life and that people from all journeys tend to arrive at the library either seeking one thing or another. So we thought, why not put some communication or information about our program and other just AT in general, putting out information for teachers across Texas. So we're going to be there exhibiting and also present. Are we presenting or are we just exhibiting?
Just exhibiting at the library. But we'll have the 3D printer there, and we're making the reading guides to give out to everyone so that they'll understand how they could play such an important role in teaching. I think our goal for the libraries is not so much, maker spaces, because many of them are starting to have their own maker spaces. So we want them to think about assistive technology. But another role they have is offering classes on accessibility. And we have one library up north that is one of our demo centers in Pottsboro, and they're just amazing us with the time. They have more time because they don't have the clients. And so they're really starting to offer those AT courses and AT classes and one-on-one AT demonstrations, and they're really amazing us with how well they're doing. So we'd like to get more libraries involved with that kind of work. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just go to your public library and request an AT tool and they'll print it for you, even if it's just paying a very small filament fee? So anyways, so that's kind of what we're promoting with that. And we'll keep you posted how that goes.
I think the idea is to strengthen local communities because I think that's what we all need. And that creates resiliency. I'm gonna move on. Wrapping up, comments for today. Next meeting is not March 11th because that is today.
Oh, we both missed that. We go through these together. Okay. The next one, let me pull my guide out. Second Tuesday.
April 4th, I want to say.
No, that's the first Tuesday.
It'd be April.
Oh, we
April
did that.
9th. April 9th.
April 8th.
April 8th. Okay, it was a day off.
April 8th. So apologize.
April 8th. One other thing I want to quick mention that's on the tail end of this. It's in its infancy. It's very much just getting started, but it's a project with Project Mend and Community First Village. It's looking at developing an AT certificate course for folks that are unhoused and have been chronically unhoused for more than a year, and kind of do some job training with them. I'll post the links right here. It's one of our partners down in San Antonio. They refurbish and refabricate durable medical equipment. And so just creating this partnership, I emailed one person and we had this other partnership and I got them into a room together. And now they're going to slowly develop an AT certificate course to train folks, but also get them be the trainers of trainers and then get them into spaces where they're refabricating and refurbishing durable medical equipment for their community and then for as a profession. So I thought that was pretty cool and hopefully it takes off. So just the power of making connections.
Very nice.
But that's it, everyone. 423.
And then show the Padlets. The next two are the Padlet links just in case.
Okay. Yes, Padlets. We should put these at the front end.
Well, I put them at the end because then everybody doesn't get overwhelmed with having to look through the Padlets while we're talking.
True.
It's a strategy.
So
I'll put the links. I'll put the links for the Padlet in also.
Yeah.
So the first one is, let me put the links in, sorry. There it is. All right. And these are on our website also. And then the next one is the shared box link. And if you have a hard time getting into that, just let me know. And this is the one that I will continue to add articles. I've got a couple articles to add, but I haven't added them yet. And I'll send an email out when I do have them. And then Kylan, if you want to share yours, we can put it in the box so that we can all kind of have a discussion about it. So I'm excited about that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll probably be 2 or 3 months until it's through the process.
Yay, congratulations. That's a big accomplishment.
But
And
yeah,
that's all.
Sorry, go ahead.
And that's all we have. You can go to the last Mustang slide. That's my favorite.
If anyone wants to do anything or talk about anything, they're welcome to. So, but yeah, if everyone's moving forward together, then success can take care of itself.
And that's what we're doing. We're building connections. And that is my car that I'm refurbishing. And when it's finished, I'll put the real picture of my car on. So, and then anybody who wants to come to Willis, Texas, because it's such a hot happening place in Texas, come on down. And once I get the Mustang going, we'll go out cruising. It's good to have dreams.
Okay, I'm going to pause the recording.